Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone is doing well. For the past many years, the scientific community has been trying to understand how the increase in temperature affects the roots of plants. In this video, we will be discussing a short section of a research paper which is quite relevant to this topic. If you want to read the complete paper, I have mentioned the details on the screen and I will also be sharing the link in the description as well as the comment section. Now let's get started with the actual content of this video. As you can see on the screen, we have four figures labeled A, B, C and D. If I zoom into figure A, we can see that two seedlings of Arabidopsis thaliana are placed side by side. These seedlings were grown for 7 days, after which they were photographed. The left seedling was grown at 20 degrees Celsius, whereas the right seedling was grown at 28 degrees Celsius. As we can see, as we move from lower to higher temperature, the root length is getting increased. So this kind of provides us a hint that increase in temperature might be increasing the length of the roots in Arabidopsis thaliana. However, we know that in science, observing one or two plants is not enough for deriving much conclusions. So for that, they extended these experiments to an increased number of plants, and the data they got looked something like this. On x-axis we have number of days, whereas on y-axis we have root length in millimeter. This whole data is divided into two groups. The blue dots represent the seedlings which are grown at 20 degrees Celsius, whereas the red dots represent the seedlings which are grown or which were grown at 28 degrees Celsius. Now if we see the data, the difference between red and blue dots is very minimal for first 4 days. However, as we proceed or progress through the timeline, we see that this difference starts increasing, and right at this point at day 10 or day 12, this difference is quite a lot. Now these couple of results give us or provide us hint that the increase in temperature might be increasing the length of the root. However, the next question scientists wanted to answer is that, okay, we have seen this phenomena in Arabidopsis thaliana, which is one of the species of plants. How about we do this same experiment with other species of plants and see whether this phenomena can be observed there as well, or if this phenomena is only restricted to Arabidopsis. So for that, they repeated this whole experiment with two other species of plants. One was Brassica oleracea, which is a scientific name of cabbage, and other was Solanum lycop, which is a scientific name for tomato. You don't have to remember these names for this video, but if you see these figures, you can see that we are seeing the same results which we observed here in figure A. As we move from 20 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, we can see that in Brassica the root length is getting increased, and same is the case for Solanum, where if we move from 20 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, the root length is also getting increased here as well. Now again, when they extended this experiment to multiple plants, the data they got looked something like this. On x-axis we have the two species, whereas on y-axis we have the length of roots in millimeter. And similar to figure B, in figure D, the two colors are representing the two different groups, which means that the blue color dots are representing the seedlings grown at 20 degrees Celsius, whereas the red colored dots are representing the seedlings which are grown at 28 degrees Celsius. Now if we look at the data, we can see and this data was measured after growing these plants for 7 days. If you see this data, you can see that the seedlings that were grown at 28 degrees Celsius had longer roots than the seedlings that were grown at 20 degrees Celsius. And same is the case for Solanum or the tomato species as well. So figure C and D tell us that this phenomena might not be limited just to Arabidopsis thaliana or one or two species, but this phenomena is observed in multiple species, and this might be a universal or a general phenomena. Now, apart from the effect of temperature on the roots of plants, an interesting observation I would like to mention here is that apart from root, this shoot part, which is called hypocotyle is also getting increased as we move from lower to higher temperature. And it's not just about the length of hypocotyle. As we can see, the overall size of the shoot is also getting increased as we move from the lower to higher temperature. Now, to summarize this whole video, we can have three takeaways from this experiment. Number one, when we increase the temperature from 20 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, we see that the roots are getting elongated. Number two, the elongation of roots is not visible in first few initial days, and it only appears after some days. Number three, that this phenomena of root elongation because of increase in temperature is not only limited to Arabidopsis, but it can also be observed in other species as well, which suggests that this may be a kind of universal or a general phenomena. So that is it for today from my side. Thank you very much.